Hi guys, Robbie Chongo here, back with another new video. So today I want to talk about what new guitarists complain about when they're starting out. And I want to answer you. So if you're a beginner, you're starting out, I'm going to answer you before you actually complain about this. So the first things first. I'll start with your hands. Every time I tell a person, you find somebody who's got maybe the short fingers, and then they'll just say, no, my fingers are too short, I can't reach to the top here. You know, they'll be holding the guitar like this, and then they'll tell me, no, but how do I hold like this and all that? So they usually have a problem with that, but it's a simple thing that is solvable. You put your fingers in the correct way, and how you put your fingers is you place your thumb behind the guitar neck, and then you put your fingers right up here and you leave a gap down here. Simple and straightforward, and you actually put your fingers in each of the frets. That will actually solve your problem. So I know it actually does feel like you've got short fingers, like you can't reach some chords. I've seen people who can actually hold chords like this, for example. You see this? This is like the G formation here, and then they're barring all the way up here. And then you're thinking, how does he do that? Or even that C formation where there's a C chord, and then you see that? So there are people that actually complain. They're like, no, but how can I reach this? It's just normal practice. The more you actually do it, the more you actually get into this position. It's not a natural state that your fingers have to be in like this, but eventually, if you keep doing it, it will actually work out. You actually start feeling the normal kind of feel. Like right now, I actually don't actually feel I'm straining my fingers at all. It actually feels kind of normal. Yeah. So that's one. The other thing is I've noticed there are people that actually have an issue where the first moment you actually show them the first chord, let's say I'm showing them a C, or just showing them just how to do the normal scale, doing a simple normal scale, you find the first thing they actually do is they start complaining that their fingers hurt. So the thing is, your fingers, yes, they will hurt in the first place, but hey, the fingers are adjusting. It's like you walking barefoot. The first time you walk around barefoot, it will actually hurt, but eventually your feet will actually get used to the sand and the stones down there, and well, you actually get used to it. So yes, they'll actually hurt, and eventually some actually get blisters in front here. So you find maybe you get blisters, and then once you get blisters, they'll eventually heal, and then after that you actually get back to normal. There's nothing like you have to call an ambulance because your fingers are swollen, nothing like that. It's not a big deal, something very small. Your fingers will heal, and after that you are used. You'll be holding your chords and you'll be playing normally. Okay, so the other thing is patience. So you find I'm showing somebody something simple thing, I show them a simple scale, or maybe I'm playing chords. So you find people actually complaining that I actually show them at first, and then you find a person tries to copy my speed, and then they're saying, no, I'm not actually improving, I'm too slow, or what. When you're starting out, you're actually training your muscle memory. So the idea is, when you're training your muscle memory, the brain is learning. So the more time you put in, the more it actually learns. The brain learns to know what is actually going on, which fingers to move and whatsoever. So eventually, as you do that, it will eventually get into your brain, and gradually your speed will increase as you go. So take your time, be patient. When you're learning something, say somebody's teaching you a scale. When you're learning a scale, for example, you move slow. In fact, this is even way fast. I'm not even supposed to move this slow or this fast. Move slower than that. You hit and then you wait. You look at where you're going. You place your finger in the right place and you follow the right rules. You put your fingers from the front. You actually behind the fret line here, so you're putting your finger behind the fret line. You actually follow all that, so you move slow. You use a metronome slowly, and then eventually it will actually get into your brain. So even when you're doing it fast, your brain won't actually think about it. It will just come out. It will just work like that. So you find you're actually just doing things even without you actually looking at the guitar. You actually just start coming out because you started slow. So if you just start doing things fast, you become sloppy eventually, because the problem is jumping levels. You actually move on with those mistakes that you have, and you keep going on with those mistakes. So that's not a very good idea. So patience works. The other thing is, don't strum too hard. And I've noticed people who actually think when they're, let's say for example, you're performing in a group, like you're outside and then there are lots of people around, so you think you want to be that loud because there's people who are actually talking, making noise, and you think, you know what, for me to actually sound louder, I need to hit the strings even hard. That will actually make you sound very sloppy. So the idea is sound good, slow, good strum. That will actually, then there are also people that I've noticed that actually do this. They actually strum. You find maybe even picking, they'll do it very, like in a very minor kind of way. So the idea is maybe you have somebody in the house and then you don't want to actually irritate them with you practicing, making all those mistakes, and then you come up with this idea that you have to play from inside. You know, the problem with that is you won't hear what you're actually playing. So even though you're playing the wrong thing, it will be very hard for you. You won't even master the sound because you're not hearing yourself. The idea is to hear yourself. Play until they chase you out of the house. Practice. I don't know if that actually makes any sense. But hey, practice. Play loud enough. Not too loud. Just enough. That will actually help you. So you hold, you play. Not that will actually, in fact, if you're unlucky, you actually spoil some of your strings out there. Okay, moving on. There are people out there that are comfortable with whatever chords they learned. So I know a guy that this guy learned these chords from way back from the 90s, I think. He learned 3 chords, so he knows C, G, and then he knows what else? It's a D. He plays only these chords. If you actually show him a minor, he will tell you you're being what does he call it? You're being one of these new school guitarists that are actually showing off or stuff. So you need to learn new chords, because the idea is when you learn new chords, you actually have more places where you can actually find that chord around and then move it around. So for example, if let's say I'm playing the A here and I don't like it's too low, maybe I need it on a higher pitch, I can actually move it here. You see? So you can find chords on different places. There are actually many places that you can actually find the A around. So if you actually learn all those, it doesn't really mean I have to always come and find this A here. I can always find it somewhere else, you know, which will actually work. So if there's G here, this is also A here. So if I actually play here, this is A as well. So you can actually find it in so many places, and then you have a variety to choose which one actually sounds appropriate to what you want. rather than just knowing one chord and then you stick to it. Doesn't matter whether a person is singing on a high pitch, you also want to play your low thing and start controlling them, get down so that you actually match me. That will actually give you a lot of problems. Okay, so the other thing is let's see, practice. This is the last thing I'll talk about. So practice. The idea is to practice. I know a guy that bought a guitar, kept it in the house so long, he doesn't know a chord. It's been in the house for more than a year now. So all he does is he looks at it, and then what he does is you show him something, he'll practice it that day that you teach him, and then he'll pack the guitar. The next time you show up, you meet him, that's when he wants to touch the guitar again and practice. That's not the way it works. If you want to improve, practice. Somebody shows you something, you practice it. Okay? So if somebody shows you a chord, you go home and rehearse on that chord. You let go, you hold. If it's a D, you rehearse on it. If you can do that the whole week, maybe 7 times a week, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes intervals, that will actually help you a lot. Trust me, you'll find in 6 months, you'll actually be on a different level, even though you're practicing on a minimal scale. Even 5 minutes in a day actually changes the way you actually be playing. Okay, so I hope I've answered some of these questions, some of these queries that people actually have. So if there's any other query maybe that you would want to contribute that you've seen, please leave it in the comment section below. I'll get back to you as well. You can like, subscribe. Otherwise, I'm out.